So you're in narcotics.
Yeah.
When did you go there?
October 11th or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love it. It's awesome.
You like it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Who are you working with?
My spot, or
Yeah.
my partner's Gothi, and we
Andy.
kind of all
Yeah, no, Andy.
mingle around together.
Yeah? Who's your supervisor over there?
David Carpenter, JD Carpenter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You ever down there or no?
I used to work for Intel and our office was at 7-Eleven and saw those guys quite a bit.
That's
And
awesome.
Andy I know from
Everybody knows
way back
Gothi.
when. Yeah. Alright, today is what, the 19th?
Yeah.
420? 1620? Okay. Basically, I just want to get with you specifically about the 21 report that was written. And then touch on some other little things just to see if, really just to touch base and make sure that I've got it all. Because I know the last time you were here, you were pretty upset,
Yeah,
so we
I
kind of
was.
didn't push
I'm sorry.
you. That's okay, but we didn't push you really hard on. Plus, we didn't have all the information because we hadn't talked to anybody yet. But we have. We've talked to everybody that we needed to talk to, and now I just want to come back to you and see if any of that makes sense to you. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about, let's start with the 21 report first. Tell me what happened that day.
I know it's been like 6 months.
It's been a while.
But what I remember is that it was they were supposedly selling drugs out of that house, I think through a hole in the back door, and I don't remember. It was, you know how everyone drives around and kind of partners up, and
Right.
so we decided, or we went back there, and nobody actually.
When you say we, who's we?
I remember
The
Lisa
squad?
not being there. Yeah, I don't. Benton wasn't there. I don't know.
Whoever happened to be working that day, is it fair to say that? Okay. And Lisa, of course,
She was
she was gone.
going
She
to the
was off
bathroom,
on
I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, she wasn't there for this?
She wasn't there on the 21. She came up later.
Okay, when it was all said and done? Okay. So the squad goes out to the house. Okay, and then what?
I was standing in the yard. I don't remember if they knocked on the front door or the back door. No, they went back and forth to both, and then at some point pushed through the air unit. And I know.
Okay. So you guys get there and you're standing in the front yard.
Yeah, we might have parked right in front of the house.
Okay.
It's a duplex.
That's fine. Were you riding with anybody, do you remember? Or
No,
you
I was
guys
probably
all-
riding alone. I mean, usually you
Okay.
ride alone unless your car's broken down.
Okay. Okay, so you guys get to the house. Do you remember who got there with you?
I
Did
think
you guys all get there at the
we
same
all showed up around
time,
the
or-
same time. I know Cervone was there, and Sergeant Garza, and I think Ryan and Kareem, but I can't remember for sure about Ryan.
Okay.
And Drayton. I don't know if Gary was.
Drayton. Gary is Savage, right?
Yeah.
Savage. Johnson is a maybe?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine, because I can always
You
check
told
it.
me what I said last time. I can remember, but.
I'll tell you in a minute what you said last time, and that way. But right now, I just want you to go from memory. I'm not going to contradict you. I'm just saying.
I know,
'cause
I just don't
I don't want
want
you to
me-
tell me the same exact thing. You know
Me
what I mean?
saying it wrong.
You can say it wrong. Well, you'll be okay.
Okay.
So Drayton, Savage, Johnson, Garza,
Yeah.
Cervone,
Yeah. Me.
you. Does that cover everybody? You, Cervone, Garza, of course. Savage, Drayton. Lisa was.
She wasn't there.
She wasn't there. That pretty much covers it. Okay, so you're in the front yard.
I know I was there, and I remember
Front yard,
standing in
side
the front
yard.
yard and around the side yard and back. I never went to the other side because the other side's part of the duplex. I
Uh-huh.
remember standing there and them knocking, and I remember
Who's
seeing
them knocking? Who knocked?
I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
I just know that someone pushed in the air unit and then they went inside.
Who someone pushed the air unit in? Because last time you told me it was Garza.
That's who
that
I
you,
remember doing
you
it.
saw. Okay, well then tell me that.
Garza pushed in the air unit.
But I mean, do you remember that, or do you remember that just because I'm telling you now?
No. I can picture it a little bit. It's not like I'm trying to forget it, but
Okay.
it kind of, like all that stuff really upset me for a long time.
I know,
so-
but I need you to really think about that day, okay? Because we're winding down on this thing, and we need specifics at this point, okay?
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you just don't forget something like that. So
No.
I know that you remember. So just tell me what you remember.
I remember Garza pushing in the air unit, and then I don't remember who went in first, but
Okay.
I think him and Cervone, I don't remember who else went in. I don't know if Kareem did or not.
Okay.
I know I didn't.
Cerbone definitely went in?
I remember him going in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Garza go in?
Yeah.
Okay. When you say Garza pushed in the AC, what exactly did he do?
Oh, he might have pulled it out. I just remember him like there's always side things on an air unit. I remember him doing something like that. He either ripped it out and put it on the ground or pushed it in.
Okay.
I can't.
Either way, he removed
recall.
it to
Yeah.
gain entry.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go in. Kareem is a. Oh, that's what I'm missing up here. There's somebody missing. Kareem may have gone in. Not sure if he went
I think
in. Right?
3 of them went in.
Okay.
I think Garza, Soud, and Cervone.
All went in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they go in, and where are you when they're doing this?
I was standing outside of that window. The window was kind of high up, so I
Is
couldn't
that
see
the one
what
that
they
they
were
took the
doing.
AC out of?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're standing by the window.
Mm-hmm. And at some point, I went to the back door.
Who was at the back door?
I don't remember if Savage was there or not. I feel like Savage was, and we kind of looked at each other like.
Okay. So you're standing by the window when Garza's pulling it out or
Mhm.
pushing it in. Either way, he removes it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they go in. You walk around the back. And who's at the back?
I thought Savage was with me.
Okay. Was Savage in the front with you when they were pushing the AC in, or do you?
He probably saw it and walked around.
Okay. So he may have been there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happens? They walk through the
They
house?
were in there for a few minutes. They came back out and put the air unit back up.
Who put the unit
I think
back?
Garza did, but it could have been one of
Okay.
the guys.
Did they come out with anything?
No, nothing that I saw.
Okay. And somebody put back, do you think it was Garza or do you remember?
Could have been.
Okay, so either Garza or who else could have put it back in?
Yeah. I don't remember. I really don't.
Okay. And then what happens?
I think Garza told Cervone, I don't know if he said write a 21 report or write a report. I know he told Cervone to write a report. Cervone was pissed about it. Went to his car and he started writing. I think he on-viewed something. I don't know what he on-viewed, like a 24. Or he might have already had on-viewed it before we got there, because you do that sometimes.
Mhm.
And Cervone asked me to write a case card with a CCR number. So I wrote the case number and I put it through the back door for him. And then somebody else did it. We were hanging out, Cervone and I were on the other street off of 26. He was in his car and I was sitting next to him. We were just
Okay.
talking.
Do you remember Garza telling Cervone to write a 21 report and Cervone getting pissed off about it because?
Yeah, he said write a 21 report. Cervone's mad, and I asked him what he was going to do. Cause I said, 'cause you have to call for an ET if you write 21 report. I said, he's like, I don't know. So I never saw the result of it.
Okay. Didn't he get upset
Yeah,
and
he was
bang on
pissed
the
and banging on
computer?
the steering wheel.
Okay. What was he pissed off about? Just because he was told
Because
to write a
Sergeant
21?
Garza told him to write a report that didn't happen. I mean, that you'd have to ask him his feelings, but
Right,
that's what I
right.
gathered.
Okay. Were you there when Garza was telling him to do it, or did Cervone tell you that that's what Garza told him to do?
I probably was, because Sergeant Garza usually would, they would kind of take turns writing dockets sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like why yeah, it's like, I think he said Cervone write a 21 report.
And then you made a comment to Cervone about you can't
said,
write a 21 report.
Without
it's a-
calling an ET. I said,
And it's
and you,
14 because Garza took the AC unit.
yeah, I said there's no theft inside. You have to, once you go inside, there has to be a crime within for it to be a 21. So it's not
Right.
a 21.
Okay. And then you don't know if he ended up writing the 21.
Well, I think he
or-
wrote a report, but I don't know what it said.
Okay. When you guys got there, do you remember being flagged down by anybody and being told that there was a 21 in progress inside that place?
No,
Did anything like that ever happen?
I never saw it.
And
I heard it.
you guys all got it there about the same time? So it's
Yeah,
not like they
probably.
were there and then you showed up.
Well, if Cervone and Drayton were the ones that were found out it was a drug house. They could have been told there was a 21 in progress there, but I wasn't told there was a 21 in progress there.
Okay, but I'm talking about when you guys got there.
No one's.
Did anybody say to you, this is a 21 in progress?
No.
Did anybody flag you down to tell you that it
No.
was a 21? Okay. I'm gonna let you read something and you tell me if this rings the bell at all,
Okay.
okay? This is the report that was written. It was written as a 21, but you tell me, cause this is pertaining to that day, to that incident that you're talking to me about.
Right. I know that Ryan did go next door and talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him knocking on the door. I think that was just to see if it was the 73 house. I don't remember. No, it's not saying I don't remember. No one ever told me anybody flagged them down and said there was a 21, because when we were standing on the side of the house, we were all relaxed. I didn't have my gun out. I wasn't like a normal 20, like it would have been on a 21 in progress. So no,
Okay.
that's not familiar to me. And the AC unit wasn't moved to the side.
It was not moved to the side
No.
when you guys got there?
No.
That's what was written. Not what you told me.
No.
Not what I've been told. See the problem?
Yeah. Well, who's everyone telling you that?
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is that it's, and that's why I wanted to get from you. Did you guys all get there kind of like at the same time? I mean, could some of this did some of this happen and you just not know about
If it
it? Or
happened
did you
before,
guys all get there at the same time and was it a
I know
relaxed
several-
atmosphere?
it
Was
was
like you
relaxed.
say, I mean, did you
I
know
was
your guns were on?
relaxed.
If it was a 21 in progress, would they have told you, hey, this is a 21 in progress,
They
so
would
you
have
need
told
to be
me.
careful?
Yeah. I
You
would
know?
hope they would tell me.
So that's what I want to get from you, what you're feeling was
I didn't know
that
it was
you
a
were there to
21 in
do.
progress. I thought we were there to check out, see if drugs were being sold, kind of do a knock and talk. That was
Okay.
my impression.
So from this report, from reading this, when it says Sergeant Garza and I made numerous attempts to make contact with anyone inside the residence, does that ring a bell to you at all?
They knocked on the front and back door.
Mm-hmm. Is that numerous, or did they just knock
Knock, 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 and then they went around and knocked in the back and knocked.
okay, and nobody came to the door?
No.
And Sergeant Garza observing that the air conditioning unit in the window had been moved to the side, leaving a big enough space for someone to fit through the open window. Is that statement true?
They had to remove the whole unit to go inside, the
Okay.
entire unit.
When I think of an AC unit in a window, is it just like we know of an AC unit in a
Yeah,
window?
the window was pretty wide.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like that big. It was pretty wide, and I think the AC unit was in the middle. And there was like two things on the side. I think like cardboard or even I don't remember. It wasn't moved to the side when I looked at it, but I didn't get up really super close to it either.
Okay. Could someone fit through
No,
that
not
window with the AC unit in there, even if it was moved to the side?
No, not unless they were this big.
So the gap was really small
Yeah.
then? So not even you, as small as you are, you wouldn't be able
No.
to fit through that window?
Not with the air conditioning unit there.
Okay. So then, when it says leaving a big enough space for someone to fit through the open window, is that a true statement?
No, if you went and looked, did you go look at it? Go look at it. You couldn't fit through it,
Okay.
especially with a gun belt on.
How about the OSS units were patrolling the area, just patrolling it, between the area of West 26 and Spires, and he was flagged down by a black male who stated he observed someone enter through the side window and gain access to the residence located at 1909 West 26th Street.
I never heard that.
Okay. So that's not a true statement either, as far as you know.
As far as I know, I never heard that. I was never told that.
Okay. Do you remember him saying anything about there being a 21 and now I can't find the lady who flagged me down?
No.
Or, I mean, any conversation about that?
No,
Nothing.
no.
Okay. And then Garza told him to write the 21 and he's upset about having to write the
Yes, he was
21.
pissed off.
Do you remember what he said? I mean, what?
Just, no, I can't remember what he said. He was swearing. He was pissed.
Okay. Alright. Was it still daylight outside when you guys
Yeah.
were doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you guys go back and do a canvas? Did he say, hey, I need help doing a canvas on this
No.
21? ET wasn't called. I mean, do you remember any of that stuff happening?
I left him at the scene when I think Johnson was doing, or I had to go to the bathroom, or Johnson was doing a 1050 and called for 35 on Alpha 14, so I left.
Okay. Okay. And that was it? I mean, that was the only dealing you guys had with this house? Did you guys ever go back to this house
Not
after this?
No, I never did.
Okay. So no arrest was made, nobody was found.
No.
Okay. AC unit was physically removed by Garza. It wasn't already a big enough hole
No.
for anybody to fit through.
No.
And when you were there, you were under the impression that you guys were just checking out a drug house. And
Yeah.
not- I mean,
That's
is that
what
right?
I thought, yes.
Okay.
Unless I was completely misled.
That's what you were told you were going there for.
Yeah, they were selling drugs out of a hole in the back of the door.
Okay. And you guys were gonna go there and check it out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Find any drugs?
I didn't go in the house. I didn't.
Okay. But I mean, did anybody come out? Do you remember anybody
I didn't
coming
see
out with
anything in
anything?
their hands. No.
No person, no nothing.
No.
Okay. Well, that's cleared up. Because I know you briefly told us about it last time. And we didn't, we didn't have the report. Remember, we
You have
wanted
my
to get the
picture?
report. Yeah, I have everybody's picture. That way I know what you look like. Let's go back for a second about what happened at the Days Inn. And again, you were one of the first people that we interviewed. You were really upset. There were a lot of things going on. I hadn't talked to anybody.
This thing still upsets me.
Take me through that, because I know enough time has passed, I think now, for everybody kind of like to take a deep breath and
Mm-hmm.
kind of relax about it and know that you're gonna be okay, kind of thing. You know what I mean? These are the questions that I have for you.
Okay.
After going through it over and over and over again. When you guys got to the Days Inn, was you and Garza downstairs?
I was driving Simone's car. Sergeant Garza was
Had his car.
driving his car.
Okay, so at this point, there's only 2 cars downstairs.
2 patrol cars, yes.
2 patrol cars. The suspects were placed in the back seat of Servone's car, which is the car that you
Yeah, I
had.
put them all back there.
Okay. When you were sitting down and you were running people for warrant and you were basically doing a background on everybody that was there before you released them, obviously, whose car were you sitting in?
Simone's driver's seat.
Okay. This is the part that I don't get, Tracy.
Yeah.
And I've gone over and over and over, and I know that you were probably scared and, some other things were going on. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's been a while now.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that you're sitting in the front seat of Servone's car running people for warrants and you don't see what's going on in the back seat?
It didn't happen when I was in the driver's seat.
When did it happen?
At some point, he was brought down. I had gotten out of the car and was talking to the guys, and Simone showed me his bite mark.
Okay.
I don't remember where he went after that, and I was like, oh, that sucks. It didn't even look very big. And then Sal and I were standing, and Sergeant Garza walked towards the back of the car, opened the left door, or the right rear passenger door, and started swearing, and I couldn't see what was happening. I was not in the driver's seat
Okay.
when that happened.
Okay, so you're standing next to the car. Even standing next to the car, neither one of you
I was-
see anything?
I could
I mean, a
Here's the
sergeant
car.
screaming at somebody in the back seat. I'm gonna
He
turn to see what's going
he
on.
leaned into the car, and I heard him yelling and moving around. I could not see what his hands were doing though,
Okay.
or if he was doing anything with his hands. But his like movement and his whole entire body was inside the car,
Okay.
and I knew something was happening and it wasn't good.
Okay. When you say something was happening and it wasn't good, what did you think was happening?
I thought he was punching him. I thought he was punching him in the body or something. I mean,
What makes you think that?
because he was just because when he leaned in the car,
You do realize that even if you saw it, you're okay, right? I mean,
I didn't see it though.
but I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
he
can't
leaned.
stress that enough with you guys.
He leaned in the car, and like, it's like his legs were straight and his whole body was in there. I just thought that was kind of weird. I mean, I didn't think he was.
So you just thought maybe he was punching him?
Or just being like shaking him, honestly.
Okay.
Which even I was just like, oh, people are in the back seat. But I mean, I didn't think he was hitting him in the head or anything. I thought he's shaking him and yelling at him because he's pissed at what he did to one of his guys.
Mhm. Okay. And you think that because of his body motion, or why?
Just because his whole entire body was in the car, and when officers get hurt by a suspect, it usually pisses other people off. You know, it pisses officers off. They don't like it.
Right.
And you do want to shake somebody sometimes.
Okay. Did Saud, who was standing there, make any comments or say anything, or?
No, him and I just kind of looked at each other and turned around.
Okay. Sorbonne wasn't down there?
No, because he would been over by the suspect's vehicle. I don't remember where he went. They'd gone back and forth upstairs to the room.
Okay. Did the suspect, Atkins, the guy that ultimately ended up getting arrested, who's a suspect in y'all's case,
Yeah.
did he complain? Did he say anything? Were you around? Did
I think he wanted me to call somebody for him. I don't think I did.
after you saw Sarge in the backseat?
Well, at some point he was removed and put in Drayton's car.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't write any of the thing. And after that happened, it moved really quickly. Like, get out of here, Tracy, you go down to the proper room, you put the stuff in the proper room. And then when I was done with that, I met Drayton outside of 501. And that's when I opened up the back door, and he was sitting across the back seat.
Okay. When did you first notice that he was bleeding?
Then,
When you went to the back door?
when I met him at 501,
When you
the
met
blood
Drayton
was
at
all over the head. He had already been to Shands, I guess, because his head was wrapped and there's blood down his shirt.
Okay. At the hotel you didn't see?
Maybe he had been to Shands. And he must not have, because he hadn't been booked yet, and you go to Shands after you get booked.
Okay. Did he say anything to you then?
About
The
that?
suspect?
No, he said, because I advised him his rights and asked him why he was meeting that girl there, and he said he was meeting there with his buddies to have sex.
Okay. He didn't complain to you about
No.
being struck in the head or anything
No.
like that? Didn't say a word?
No.
Okay. Take me to the conversation you had with Sorbonne
I don't remember
about it.
the one that was like a couple days later or the next day. I just remember
Either.
we were doing like a traffic.
Tell me about the one the next day. What happened the next day?
If it was the next day, one of the days, Sorbonne and I, we were doing a traffic deployment in like 13th and Moncrief, and him and I were standing out on the road, and I said something to him about the guy. I said, "What happened?" And he said, "Sergeant Garza hit him with his radio." I was like, "Wow."
Where did Sorbonne get that information?
He didn't tell me.
He didn't say?
No, I figured he'd heard it from Sarge.
Okay. Did he ever tell you that he saw Garza hitting him
No,
with
I
the
didn't
radio?
ask him.
Okay. And that was the only conversation you guys have ever had? Have you talked to him since?
Well, we
This
had the
whole-
trial, but we didn't talk about anything really. We just talked about
The trial for
Samario.
Samario? When was that?
Last week or so. He was found guilty. So me and Sal and Drayton and Sorbonne all testified.
Did any of this come up during the trial?
No, Jessica, the state attorney, said that they put a gag order on it.
On that particular?
Yeah, she said they wouldn't ask us about Sergeant Garza.
Okay. So obviously he was found guilty of coming in
Battery
there
and possession resisting.
Battery,
Bolio.
possession,
Yeah, and resisting.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
That's what Jessica told me.
So gag order on the Garza deal, on the fact that he was hit over the head, that wasn't allowed to
No
be
one brought
in
it
the
up,
court?
but Jessica said to us, she brought us aside and said, just so you know, it's not going to be asked, you don't have to worry about it.
Makes sense, okay. And that's Jessica Clinton says that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Garza have to come to the trial?
No, Jessica told me he emailed her and said he wouldn't be able to come because stuff. She's like, I know.
So Garza did go, okay. So the next day he says Sarge hit dude
Mhm.
over the head.
If it was the next day, chronologically, I can't remember, but
That's fine, but shortly
it was
after.
afterwards. It was daylight.
Okay. And that's the only conversation that you guys have had?
We've never talked about the thing. We've kind of talked about the situation because, we haven't talked about anything that happened. Just kind of like how he was stressed out about it and how he had to leave, how they left OSS and how he wants to leave JSO now because he hates it here.
Okay. What about, did he ever make any comments about the having to write the 21 or being sick of Sarge telling him to write stuff that?
I never asked him about it because shortly after it was when this
That's
stuff
when all this
happened.
thing happened.
So.
Okay. Take me to the lunch at Larry's Giant Steaks.
It was Garza and me, Johnson, and I think Kareem because Johnson wasn't there that day, and they were joking around about.
So it was just the four of you?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah. They were joking around about his portal radio sergeant said, or somebody said something. I think it was Ryan about you got to throw that into the river, or maybe Garza said, wrap it up in plastic tape and throw it in the river.
Mm-hmm.
So. At that point, I don't think I'd talked to Cerbone yet because I.
But I mean, that's all that was said. You guys were having lunch, and he says, "Hey, you ought to just wrap that thing in plastic and throw it in the river." There was no.
35.
Thank you.
He carries this around in his hand. He doesn't put it in a belt like most people. So it was on the table when we were eating, and they were joking around about it, about there being blood on the radio or thrown in the water to get rid of it because they'll be able to trace it.
Okay.
I don't think it was Kareem. I think it was Ryan joked to Sarge or something.
Okay. What brought on that conversation? I mean, just
Oh, I
out of
don't
the
know.
blue?
Or somebody said maybe you were glad you weren't there last night or something. So
Tell me
Ryan-
what you remember. Just everything, even if it's
I
bits and
remember I was
pieces.
sitting here, Sarge was sitting here, Ryan was sitting there, Kareem was sitting there. I don't remember where the radio was, but I was eating and watching. I don't even remember what sport was on at that point. I was watching SportsCenter, so I'd zone out people's conversations sometimes. That's kind of what I was doing. But then I heard stuff about the radio, about wrapping it in tape, or I don't remember if they said wrapping in tape or throw it in the river and there's blood on it. And I started paying attention then, but then they started talking about something else,
Mhm.
and that's when I started to wonder what had happened.
Okay. Did they ever? So I'm assuming, since Ryan, out of that whole group that was there that day, Ryan was the only one that wasn't there. Somebody must have said
I
to him,
assumed
"Just
somebody
be
told
glad
him what happened.
you weren't there last night."
Yeah, and I assumed someone had. Afterwards, I realized I was like, well, somebody must have told him what had happened.
Okay.
Somebody told him.
But no conversation about you shouldn't have hit that guy on the head, or
No,
I can't
nobody
believe you
said
hit him
that.
on the head, or did you see him, or
No.
anything like that?
No.
Wasn't there some joking going around about the JPIX picture?
Yeah, I guess Sergeant Anderson was there. I don't remember it, but I don't remember what day it was. But I know we were kind of doing checkoff, and we were in his office, and Sergeant Garza pulled it up and showed it, and was joking around about how he. I remember what he said. He's like he resisted, or look at that guy, and Anderson was like, whoa, because there's a lot of JPIX pictures that.
Mm-hmm.
They're exaggerating it when they're wearing a neck brace and
Mhm,
all you did was
mhm.
handcuff them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember what they said to Sergeant Anderson about it because that's who I think they were showing.
Okay. The meeting at the gate, when that happened the day after it happened. So that was on the 19th, because this happened on the 18th. I went back and looked at those tapes, and everybody was standing right there. I mean, I find it
For
really-
what?
For the meeting about, when everybody was being asked about what to say,
Oh.
if integrity were to call,
Uh-huh.
and, how to write the use of force report, and, you know.
I don't remember the use of force in Portland. I remember them talking about it because I remember talking to you about it, but I don't remember what he said to say. I just remember them telling me, asking if you'd ever been to Integrity or Internal and to lie.
They basically just flat out told you to lie.
But he was like, you don't have to tell them anything.
You said to lie, so is that the impression that you got when you
Yeah.
were there? Based on what? What did they say to make you feel that way?
That